I think this is so fascinating.
Yeah. This is here we have a huge barbed wire collection by Swift Jewell. He was a B-24 pilot in World War II and came to the area. He was a city manager. And this is the largest barbed wire collection west of the Mississippi River. And
wait, now.
This is the
largest?
Largest barbed wire collection west of the Mississippi River, among the 3 largest in the United States. Now, you can't believe how many specimens there are here. But in 1873, they had to make barbed wire to keep the boundaries of our farms.
Right.
And so there's all these different things here.
And they changed them because over the years the design changed.
Well, different people had different ideas.
Okay.
That's what it was. So you've got to see that. And then here's a dandy collection of Brandon irons with whose they were in this area. This really covers our area really well.
I think my wife branded me once, and I have a tattoo there. Somewhere.
Well, you have the calf brands and the cow brand. Here's another snaffle bit collection. You can look and see the temperament of the horse.
Yep.
These are called spades, and if you have a deep spade, that's a real spirited horse. A slight spade. Here's a horse the kids took to school.
You got to come see this place, folks. Just
yeah, it is. That's
now,
really
we talked
good.
about this before. Tell me about. Do you remember the lady that painted that painting?
Okay, Jerry O'Brien painted this just this last year. Les Hoffman, the Hoffman family, were from San Miguel. They had the first people in the United States that had an electrical system, and Edison bought it from them. San Miguel's one of the first towns with an electrical system.
Look at the old license plates.
You
know, sometimes I have a friend who has a license plate, and he was offered $2,000 for it, and he turned it down. An orange.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, this old Maxwell still runs. All of these buggies and wagons are used in our Pioneer Day Parade. This was a gasoline pump that was restored as an Eagle Scout project. Did a wonderful job with that.
And I can't tell you how much that's worth because it's worth a whole lot of money.
I bet that is.
Yeah, it's worth a whole lot of money. Come on, let's go in here. This is the communication center.
This is a communication center, but what's interesting here, there were some gold miners out behind Creston, out over the hill from Lopez Lake, and the kids were really inquisitive, and they went in bee trees and got beeswax, made their own radios and sold them. And they made their own tubes and everything. It's really, you've got to see the history of these radios from the Alley Brothers.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this is KPRL radio station, started in 1956.
KPRL, still here in Paso.
Yeah,
still here in Paso Robles.
1947. And I sang every Sunday morning on it. I was in high school. My dad, we had CBMC, and I sang in a men's quartet. They were on the air for 22 years. And here's a bunch of movie projections, shows what we used in school.
And the Duke?
I taught school from 1959 to 1997, and of course I started with all these type of projectors.
Right. Wait a minute here now. You got this is the dime telephone call. Mom, are you there? Hello? Oh.
No, really, you need this one.
Crank it up.
Pick this up. Our number was 7F13. And that's because you have one long one and 3 short ones. So when that would ring, we'd pick it up. But of course, there were about 14 or 15 people could hear your ring.
When I moved here, I was on an 8-party line.
8-party line.
8-party line.
Well, see, my cousins, I'd listen. We had a lady that'd always rubber, and we'd listen for the clock, and would go tick-tock, tick-tock. Then we knew she was rubbering. Then we say, oh, you know, I think that old lady that smells bad and dresses her kids funny are listening. She'd go, blah, and then she'd hang it up. And Dad would paddle us because we were supposed to be nice.
And there she is.
Yeah, this is a telephone operator.
This is probably, she looks a little bit better than the one that was real.
Well, you know, this man, this is this man's wife.
Yes.
She just passed away several years ago. He comes almost every day, the museum's open, and fusses with her and changes their clothes, makes sure they're clean, because his wife was one of the chief telephone operators here.
That's a great story.
You've got to see this. We have so many things, and we have plenty of signages around here where you can, it tells these stories.
Right, like here.
In 1860, there was this family settled out west of Paso Robles, and they came to town, and and planted some pine trees in the park, and the city cut it down, and then John Daniels took his chainsaw and made the Pioneer out of it.
And it sat in the park area?
So it was in the city park until the tree started to fall apart and rottenness, and they moved it over here in the Pioneer
And you
grounds.
used to use this, right?
Yeah. This is what John Daniels used on it. Yeah.
Come on, let's go. We're going from room to room. Now, how many square feet of undercover?
Oh, we have about must be about an acre undercover.
Undercover.
Here, be careful. Be careful. Look behind you.
Oh! Scary.
Looking out, folks. We have all sorts of things here. That thing must be from the 1930s.
Is it really?
Yeah, and so as we come in, we'll look at Clark Smith's gun store and bicycle store.
We got the bicycles on one side. We got look at the eagles.
Yeah, there's a golden eagle.
Golden eagle.
Yeah.
We got mooses, and we got ducks, and we got chickens, and we got coyotes, and we got all kinds of critters.
Yeah, he sold all sorts of things. Clark Smith, he was born and raised in Templeton in Creston in 1875.
It's interesting that somebody would have a store that had bicycles and guns in the same store. Can you imagine a thing occurring like that
Outboard
today?
engines. And he sold all of our sports equipment when I was in high school
Yeah.
in the 50s and the 40s. This is where we got our Letterman's jacket. There you see the Paso Robles Letterman sweater.
Wow.
We got it from Clark Smith. He
Wow.
rode this bicycle
Yeah.
from Oakland down to San Francisco in 1890.
From
Took him-
Oakland.
Yeah, it took him 4 days and
I'll
lost
bet.
30 pounds. But he was a bicycle racer. And he was proud of the records
I'll
he had.
bet he was. Now, a little story about these guns. The most bullets sold, is that right?
Pardon? Yeah, now Clark Smith, there's a picture in here if you come to our museum. He sold more shotgun ammunition than any other dealer in the western United States.
Out of Paso Robles.
Out of Paso Robles, because this was a hunting area. From 1860s, we had important people coming from Europe to hunt here even.
Right.
And they would come here and he'd have to buy shotgun shells by the truckload, train loads. There's a picture of him with a one block of ammunition this high, and people would come, and then, like my grandpa came here in 1902, and he traded in his old 86 Winchester 40-82 rifle. This is this outside one right here, and bought a 303 Savage, which we still have in our family.
Wow.
There's a bunch of old fishing lures. Those of you who love to fish, if you're down from South County and you go to Lopez Lake, boy, you ought to see the lures that are there.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
Yeah.
Now, as we go on, and we're going to skip over some of this stuff because there's so much here. This is a room full of old typewriters.
Yeah, this is a typewriter. There's one typewriter here.
That's a computer typewriter.
Yeah, yeah. Kids don't know, but there's a typewriter here that has an interchangeable ball. It's 1890. Here we thought the IBM was.
Right. Yeah.
Here's a lot of other local stuff. By looking in our museum, you'll learn the whole area in here. Here's a small one on military. We do have the Camp Roberts Military Museum, which you have to see. It is really good. And then out at the Paso Robles Airport, we have another museum, Air Museum.
We're going to go out there actually and show the
see that green uniform in the front?
Right.
That's mine.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, I drafted that out of my classroom.